Oh yeah, I just got these. I really like them. So far, so good.
Yeah, I've enjoyed them. Like, you don't realize how annoying a cord is
Hmm.
until you don't have it anymore, and you're like, oh, I can like move my hands.
Yeah, I
I
can't go
can
back to
move
working
around.
out with earbuds.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Well, thank you so much for being here. I am so excited. And I think it's really funny that we tried to do a podcast like I don't know how long ago, and I had major technical difficulties, but we're back,
I
and it's
know.
going to be
I'm
better than ever.
excited. I'm
I'm super
excited.
pumped. Yes. So, um, first things first, tell everyone like who you are and what you do.
Well, I'm Amelia, and I'm a writer. I have a blog. I write for other blogs. I also teach kickboxing, and I do a lot of things. I do a little marketing too, so I kind of do it all. I'm writing now more than ever, which I love. I love writing about mental health, physical health, especially how the two connect. Mental health is so necessary, whether you're starting a new diet or you're starting a new exercise routine. It's so important. So I preach on that over and over and over.
Well, I remember the first time we talked, we were both coming off of like crazy like health adventures. And so
Yeah.
like I know you were still in like recovery and like I was still trying to figure things out. So like in the past year, what have you or tell everybody about like your what your health adventure was and then like how you've kind of moved through that.
Yeah. So I grew up kind of as like a sick child. I always had an ear infection. I always had strep throat. I always had something wrong with me. And then in college, it kind of escalated. I got a really bad case of mono. My liver actually started failing. And I was so sick, unbelievably sick, like bed rest for 3 to 4 months. I had to drop out of school for an entire semester. Like it was awful, horrifying. And that's when I realized, like, wow, I really need to start looking at what I'm putting in my body. Like, am I taking enough vitamins? Am I getting enough nutrients? Am I taking care of my immune system? And it was kind of this huge wake up call. And that was when I started writing and started my blog and kind of started this whole adventure of what you put in your body really matters, because I grew up eating like Pop Tarts and toaster strudels, and I eat Cheerios every morning. And I was notorious for my McDonald's biscuit every single morning throughout high school. So I didn't always live this life, but I just saw so many connections in the way that I felt mentally, especially. I kind of hated my body before, and eating well and working out completely changed my perspective on all of that, which was amazing. And then about, I guess it was almost like 2 years ago. Um, so I guess we did the podcast like what, a year ago or so.
I
And
think
I was
so.
coming off of, I had a cyst on my spine and I had to go in and get surgery for that. And the doctor was like, oh, it'll be 2 weeks. You'll be fine. You'll be back on your feet, whatever. And it was not 2 weeks. It was like 3 months before I could even work out again. I was in so much pain. And that was when, I tried to get back into CrossFit and kind of throw myself into all these different activities, and it just wasn't working. And I noticed my body was so fatigued from all the things I was throwing at it. CrossFit was not working for me. I couldn't figure out how to fuel my body for the workouts. It just wasn't working. So I completely changed the way I worked out, and now I kind of see working out as just a way to move. Like if you don't feel like doing a hard workout that day, I don't think you should. If you're tired, you're fatigued, I think you need to listen to your body and just move. Get on the treadmill and walk for 30 minutes, or take a bike ride, or take a walk outside. I think it's all about just moving your body. So I've just completely shifted. I'm more in like chill out mode rather than go crazy mode.
Yeah. And the kickboxing you mentioned, that seems new. I've been seeing you do that. So like how did
Yeah,
you find that and like how's it
so
going for
much
you?
fun. So I used to box a few years ago and I loved it. And then I kind of got away from it. I didn't make time for it. And then I came across Gripbox and I started doing a little marketing for them. And kickboxing just seemed kind of a natural thing for me to fall into. So I started training again this summer, and I actually just started my classes this week. So on Tuesday, Thursday, 9:30 at Grip Box. It's a great workout.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's really great. It's more
So,
of like a cardio class.
yeah. So are you still like lifting? Are you, because I know you were like really into Olympic lifting for a while. Like, what's the deal with
Yeah.
that?
So when I go home, sometimes I'll take a weightlifting class just to brush up. I still use those movements all the time. I've been working out with the same trainer for over a year now, a long time. I work out with Mitch Darton over at Pro Performance Athletics, and he's great. His programming is awesome, exactly what I wanted. I work out with him twice a week, so I kind of push it twice a week, but I'm not lifting super heavy, but it is still really intense and pushing my body, but not to the point of where I'm super fatigued all the time. He actually really puts a lot of thought into his programming, and it's great. I'm still having so much fun with it.
That's awesome. Those workouts always look fun. I mean, I know they're like probably miserable, but it looks like you're having a really good time.
Yeah, it's great though. It's great. It's a good balance of like kind of it's very traditional like strength and conditioning. So
Yeah.
traditional, there's nothing wrong with that. It's always
So
the best.
what's an example of that, like traditional strength and conditioning for people who don't
So
know?
I think when you look at things like CrossFit, my problem was that there's not a whole lot of accessory work. So there's not like any just black and white bodybuilding per se, you know. Not that you have to go in and hit like bicep curls all the time, but just traditional lunges or split lunges, or working that left shoulder, working your right shoulder individually, slow, actually like thinking about those movements, just traditional weight training, very simple.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important to balance each side of your body. And when you're just going balls to the walls all the time and doing all of this heavy stuff, but you're not doing any accessory stuff to supplement it, I think that's when you can kind of get into trouble and your body becomes very imbalanced, which
Mhm.
is not fun for anyone.
Yeah, totally. So would you notice that your body was out of balance after doing CrossFit for so long? And did you have to do like a
Yeah,
lot of like cleaning up in that regard?
yeah, kind of. Mainly I felt it like in my nervous system. Like I couldn't even think. I was just so tired all the time. I wasn't recovering. I was sore all the time. And it just wasn't realistic for me. I just don't think that it was the right programming for me, for my body. I feel like my body looks so different now. It's just, I can't even compare the two. I feel stronger even though I'm not pushing myself to maybe my fullest extent weight wise.
Hmm.
I still lift heavy, but I'm not like maxing out all the time, which I don't have
Yeah,
a
you're not
problem with right
lifting to
now.
failure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've listened to a lot of podcasts on that, and they're saying, and of course, this is like today's science, tomorrow it might be different, but they're saying lifting to failure is actually horrible for you, and you should never lift to failure, and like you should never even lift to soreness. Like
Oh, I don't
they're like
know.
saying even that is like not the best for you.
I
Have you
mean,
heard that, or like what do you think of that?
I just think finding a healthy balance, like balance is everything. With CrossFit, I felt like I was just, okay, max deadlift, max back squat, max push press, and that's all in one week. And I think that's a little crazy. I think that if you're on a strength program that kind of goes through natural waves, you know, you're lifting heavy this week and then you back off the next week and it's heavier the next week. I think that that's healthy if you want to get stronger. And if you're playing a sport, I think that you just need to be smart about it. But I definitely push myself. Like I still get sore after workouts. I feel like I wouldn't have any fun if I was never sore. I would just
Yeah.
get kind of bored. And I mean, finding out your max back squat, it's an adrenaline rush. Like when you're lifting really heavy and you don't know if you can do it, and it's fun. It's just a good time sometimes. I feel like I sound like a psycho saying that, but but I just think that
No.
you have to find that healthy balance. Like, I don't think you should be consumed with how much your max back squat is this day, or, how much you deadlifted last week. I don't think that you should become obsessed with that all the time. I think you need to find a balance.
Yeah. So when you are talking about balance, what other things do you do? Like, do you do like meditation or yoga, or like really, really, really low impact things that kind of help your
I
body too?
Yeah, so sometimes it'll just be like a 30-minute workout. So I just maybe do 10 minutes of sprints, and then, I'll do like maybe some shoulder workout, a little back workout, just simple. If I don't feel like doing anything crazy and I've had a really crazy week and I've been pushing myself mentally, which has kind of been the case lately. I've been running around like crazy, so I haven't been pushing my workouts super hard, which is fine, but I still get in the gym 45 minutes, even if it's just when I was home a couple weeks ago, I took my dogs on bike rides every day, and I had so much fun. And I was like, why don't I do this more often? Just getting
Yeah.
outside and walking, riding your bike, just moving. And then I've been trying to do a little bit of yoga before I go to sleep every night, even if it's just 15 minutes, because I felt like my hips were getting really tight and I just wasn't taking care of my body in that aspect. And it's actually really been helping me sleep better. So I just put on some music, 15 minutes of stretching. Like, that's made a world of difference too.
So what stretches do you do? Do you do like of YouTube videos, or is it just like things that you've put together from doing classes, or how did you come up
Yeah,
with that?
things that I've just been putting together, like a little down dog, up dog, stretch out my back, kind of just like listening to my body. I feel like I'm so much more in tune with my body than I was a couple years ago. And, if my back feels tight, then maybe it's in my hamstrings and I need to stretch out my hamstrings a little more. If I'm having issues with my knees, is it because my quads are really tight? I feel like really just listening to your body and, think about what you're doing. I feel like a couple years ago, I just went wild crazy and wanted to do it all, and didn't really listen to my body. And maybe that's just getting older. I don't
Yeah.
know, but I feel like I'm
I
just
feel
so
like
much more
that
in tune.
too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like once you go through something really scary where you do, and I feel like in the beginning, it's kind of a bad way of like noticing every little feeling that you
Hmm.
have. Like, and sometimes it's like nothing, and sometimes it is important. But then as you can kind of get away from that fear place, it turns into just being like, oh, I'm so checked in. Like, I know what's going on. And it's kind of
Yeah.
like a really positive thing.
I feel like it's so much less stress on your body. You don't realize when you're working out your hardest extent every single day, you have to think about the stress that puts on your body. And stress is just, it's so bad for you. It's bad for your mental health. It's bad for your physical health. It's bad, for your immune system. So I've really tried to keep that in check too. Stress is huge.
So, what do you do? I know in your writing, like, what are you writing about in terms of mental health? And, like, what have you learned? What can people do to kind of feel better in that way?
Yeah, so recently, like I just said, I've been really trying to tone down the stress because it has just really taken a toll. This year was a huge year for me. I had like a big move. I graduated. I'm finding myself in my career. I went out of the country for a bit. It's just been so much, and I just tend to ignore it. And I'm one of those, oh no, I'm fine. Like, it's no big deal. Like, change is cool. Like, it's fine. And then I end up seeing it come out in my body, like whether it's a form of cystic acne, or I'm feeling like I have the flu but I don't have the flu. I feel like stress just finds its way in every single corner it can. And so I've just been trying to adjust like little things. Like, if something isn't making me happy, I try and cut it out, whether it's a relationship that's not good or whether it's a job that's not good. You got to learn to let stuff go. And then I've wanted to write a piece about the little stuff that I've changed. I started doing like lavender oil behind my ears at night, and then which sounds weird, but it actually like, relaxes me in this very weird, strange way. I get this roll on lavender stuff from Whole Foods. I just roll it everywhere. But like these weird little things make such a difference, and self-care is so huge, whether it's just doing a mask or a scrub on your body, taking care of your body. It just makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah. And I remember we kind of touched on this, but were you using CBD, and how, like, did you end up trying it, and how did it work?
No, I've been so looking to get into that. I keep reading about all these stories, how if someone's having knee pain, they put the CBD oil on their knee and it's going away. And it's just, my parents actually got these little dog treats that have CBD oil in them, and they give them to my dog who gets kind of stressed, and she has joint issues, and she's so much happier now. But it's so funny. CBD is like taking over. I know you mentioned it last year, but I need to hop on the train.
You need to. Game changer, for sure.
Yeah, I need to investigate.
Investigate. Well, I'll send you the link of the one I use. It's called Charlotte's Web. It's like about $40, and it lasts for a super duper long time, and it's the best. All your problems go away.
I went to California for a bit this summer, and there were like CBD oil cocktails. It was wild. It's everywhere.
Oh my God. Like out at restaurants?
Yeah, like the
Oh my
cafes
God.
everywhere. It's crazy. People put it in their
That's nuts.
coffee. It's wild.
Well, I don't like to take it in the morning because I feel like it doesn't make me tired, but like I like to take it at night, and then it helps me go to sleep. Like in the
Yeah.
morning, I feel like it would just kind of make you
Yeah,
want to
my
just like
dogs like pass out after.
that's kind of how it is for me too. But I don't really take that much. I guess I don't know. But also I know that you're like very into green beauty. So I wanted to know, like, what are you obsessed with green beauty wise right now?
Yeah, well, I was into green beauty, and then when I got back from Peru, I was just so stressed because all in the same month I moved, graduated, and went to Peru. So it was just, I kind of like hit my stress peak. I ended up having to go see a dermatologist, and I have been decked out in SkinCeuticals, which I know is not super green right now. But I've just kind of had to shift and simplify. I'm really into fresh though. I've had fresh in my routine for the past 3 years now, and I love it. Their brand sold at Sephora. They have this rose mask. It's a rose hydrating mask. It is my favorite mask in the whole world, which is saying a lot because I go through a lot of masks. And then I love their clay mask. Actually, I started using their clay mask instead of the Glam Glow, which is if you're into skincare, you know about that Glam Glow clay mask. It's amazing.
I
Oh
don't.
God, my favorite.
I told you, once I got onto Ren, I like don't do anything else. Like I just have Ren, and
Yeah,
I just don't even think about any. I don't. It's like I'm like I don't see anything other than Ren now.
yeah.
But
I started using rose hip oil too. I'm really into facial massage, which everyone always laughs at me when I say this. They're like, "You're insane. Like you are seriously a psychopath." But we don't realize how much inflammation we hold in our face. I know that if I even eat sushi, with a lot of soy, a lot of salt, sodium, my face will swell up. And I started doing this facial massage, and I don't wake up with that tight, swollen face anymore. It's part of that
so you're
self-care
doing it to yourself.
routine. Mm-hmm.
You're
Yep.
like doing it to yourself. Okay.
You can watch like a YouTube video. You just go up. I sound so crazy saying this, but it's like when I went over to California, I was like, yes, these people, they get me. Like they're doing it all. Like there are these estheticians there that only do facial massages. I'm like, yes, girl, do it. I love my jade roller too. Really
I
good
was
for
gonna
puffy
ask, do you have
eyes.
one of those?
Oh yes,
Does
girl. I
it
keep it in my
work? I'm
freezer.
like, what is
Because
this
I
gonna
get
do
the
for me?
worst. I have really bad allergies, and I'm very sensitive to salt. So if I have too much of either of those, I keep my jade roller in the freezer so it's really cold, and you can just roll out your eye, and it's really soothes it, brings down the inflammation, and then you can go up on your jawline, and like kind of under your cheekbone, and that gets rid of the inflammation there, which is really great.
Wow. I need to try that.
I'll have you feeling
I'm
like a
very
new woman. It is great.
So another one of my favorite things that you do is your recipes, specifically your pancakes. They're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
So what recipes do you have right now? Like, what's your go-to?
So I'm really into, I mean, I've always been into tacos, but I'm just going through this weird, I'm like taco crazy. I'm literally, I have corn, I'm staring at corn chips right now, but I've really dedicated myself to going gluten-free besides maybe like one cheat meal a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So,
You cut out for one
sorry,
second. I
someone
heard
called me, I
no gluten.
ignored. Yeah, I
Oh,
went
okay.
gluten-free, and so that means corn tortillas, corn chips. So it's actually really easy to eat a gluten-free kind of Mexican meal. And I either do fish tacos, I love halibut, and I just get some Trader Joe's taco seasoning, or I just do ground turkey. So it's a lot more lean than if you were to go out to eat in a Mexican restaurant, usually. If you get
Mm-hmm.
the 99% ground turkey anyways, there's no fat, um no grease, which is really nice. And I just do the seasoning, I make my vegetables, and then I make my little taco with my corn tortilla, and it's great. It's kind of my obsession right now. It's so easy. And then of course my pancakes, I make those like a few times a week. They really fill me up,
Yeah.
which is great.
What caused you to go gluten-free?
Actually, I got really sick when I got back from flu. From Peru, and I caught like this Peruvian flu. No idea what it
Oh,
was, or I have no idea, but I couldn't really eat for 3 weeks. And I was living off of like crackers, and it was awful, horrible. Would not wish that on anyone. And as I
were
started
you just
easing
like
back,
throwing up, or
yeah,
like
I was throwing
what
up.
was
I
happening?
could not eat anything. Like anything I would try and eat, I would just throw it up. And I was so scared. And we spent time in the Amazon. So I was so scared. I was like, oh my God, I have malaria. I'm going to die. Because I can't, I went through this whole dramatic thing because, oh God, the Amazon, the place that we stayed at had no walls. So we're in the middle of the jungle, and I left my malaria pills out, and I think these monkeys like stole them. It's a whole thing. Monkeys would like,
The monkeys
I
are like,
thought,
listen, we don't want malaria either.
well, you had to like pack up your stuff at night because the monkeys would come in your room and take what they're really crazy. And um, so anyways, when I got back, I thought I was really sick. And then I started easing back into my diet. I tried to do even the Ezekiel bread, which a lot of the Ezekiel bread isn't gluten-free, 100%. So I just felt my stomach was so upset. I couldn't eat anything. I was just bloated all the time. I was so unhappy. I'm like, what the heck is wrong with me? This is not my body. And so I made it a goal to kind of, I was like, I have to cut out the gluten. Like this has to be what it is. And I feel so much better now. I think I dropped like 5 pounds by not eating gluten for 2 weeks. I was 2 weeks
And that
completely
was
no
the only thing
gluten.
that you had changed.
Yeah, I was still eating just as much. It was really just the bloat that it helped. I definitely had a food allergy, and I need to straighten it out.
Yeah. I really need to get a food allergy test because I have this weird patch of eczema on my hand that I've been trying to figure out like what causes it. And it's, I don't know if it's 100% gluten, but it's something with like packaged foods and like breads and something. It flares it up. It's crazy. But when I went to
Yeah.
Paris, I was eating bread every day and it went away. So I'm like, this American bread is not
It's
right.
crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
Don't
even when I went to Peru, I was eating, um, very farm to table type of things, especially in the jungle. They didn't really have a whole lot of resources out there, so they literally had a garden in the back area. And I lost so much weight. I think I lost like 10 or 15 pounds going to Peru. We were hiking all the time, but I think it was
Well,
mostly
so
the
tell me
food.
about this trip. Like, how long did you go? What were you doing? Like, it sounds
So I
amazing.
was,
In the
yeah,
jungle.
oh my God, it was, yeah, oh God, it was crazy. Peru is beautiful, so gorgeous. I was finishing up some research for my capstone. So I was studying culture surrounding healthcare in America versus Peru, and kind of the difference in the farm to table aspect, because in America, we're kind of switching over to this idea of farm to table, shop local, shop at your farmer markets. Whereas in Peru, that's just the lifestyle there, which I loved. Everywhere you go, there's these huge, big areas of just farmers market and fresh fruit, fresh juice, fresh. Of course, you have to be careful drinking the water, just because the bacteria is different when you go to a different country versus in America. So you can't really eat a lot of the fresh stuff. But I mean, the culture, it was just amazing. And we went to the desert. We went to Paracas, which was crazy, amazing. We did these doom buggy things through the desert, which was the craziest thing I've ever done in my life. Thought I was going to die like 10 times, but had a great time. And then we went to the jungle for a while. That was a crazy experience too. And the jungle is a whole new ballgame. Hiking in the jungle, I mean, wow. We went fishing for piranhas. Just, if you want to go on an adventure, like, go to Peru.
I
Crazy. And then
want
we
to
went
go
to
to
Machu
Peru.
Picchu.
It's like been on my list.
Oh, I will tell you the places to go. Cusco or
Yes.
Machu Picchu is truly amazing. I mean, Machu Picchu is breathtaking. We did another hike. We did like the Mount Machu Picchu hike, which was crazy. It's just crazy to see all of
How
the
high was
culture
the
there.
altitude there? Did you ever get like altitude sickness or anything?
No, I am not necessarily prone to altitude sickness, even when, I mean, Colorado doesn't even compare to Machu Picchu really, but we ascended slowly. So we started in the desert and then slowly started to rise to Machu Picchu. So some people had an issue, but we did have altitude medication for them. So it really wasn't a problem. But I mean, I would like take 5 steps and be out of breath. It was crazy. If you want to feel like you're out of shape, I mean, altitude will get you.
Yeah, I know. Even when I went to Colorado, I had like the hardest time
Yeah.
breathing, and I never really go to high altitude places, so I think maybe I was like sensitive to it. But
Yeah.
Peru's been on my list forever. But that was one thing I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna pass out there.
It's so much fun. Yeah, ascend slowly. Like, you'll fly into Lima, which is the capital, and then you'll just slowly make your way up to Machu Picchu. I think flying into Cusco, I probably would have like fainted. I got off the plane, I was like, it's so beautiful, but I can't breathe.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So okay, so going back to gluten, you've excluded that from your diet completely. Do you have anything else that you've excluded, like dairy, or I know you've
Yeah,
never really
long
gotten
time.
stuff, but you're
Um,
no dairy?
No dairy. I've always excluded the dairy. There was a moment like last year where I was like, oh, you know what? I can get a coffee with milk in it. Like, yeah, give me that latte. And I went on this latte binge for 2 weeks, and my stomach, it was, I mean, looked like I was like 7 months pregnant. I'm like, what is wrong with me? Like, my weight's not up. Like, what's the deal? And it's just dairy in general. I feel like it makes me break out. It makes me bloated. It's just, I've never been a fan. So it's pretty easy to
Yeah.
exclude dairy though. I don't miss it that much.
Yeah, it is. Is there anything else to exclude, like any other parameters that are on your diet right now?
No, gluten and dairy for now. I really had to change a lot about my diet this summer. I think that traveling and then adjusting back to American food, it was just not, I was like, wow, this food is affecting me more than I thought it was. It was kind of a huge wake up call to what I was putting in my body. I'm definitely trying to um, buy local as much as I can, even though it's so hard. I feel like I'm so busy all the time. I don't have time to get to the farmer's market. It's so much easier just to go to the grocery store, but I really am going to try and put in the extra effort to shop local. It's so important to get those fresh veggies uh, directly from the farmer. I think it's so important.
So what do you notice? Just like a difference in like your overall like energy or like bloating, or is it just like what makes you want to keep doing that?
It's really the way my body feels. I feel lighter. I don't feel as heavy and weighed down. My stomach doesn't hurt. It's not bloated, it just makes a world of difference. I feel better about myself. And I'm, like when you're bloated and your stomach hurts, you don't feel good. You don't feel like going to work out as much. You don't feel, I feel like it kind of, or at least me, it holds me back. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to do like, even if it's just something small, like, maybe skipping the cheese on your salad, or maybe going for the gluten-free option, just those little tiny, or getting corn tortillas instead of whole wheat tortillas, just those little tiny changes add up to really big differences.
Yeah, that's so true. So with your writing, what is coming
Mm-hmm.
next?
Right now, I'm writing for the gym I work at. I'm writing for their blog at the moment, which is really nice. It's
Mhm.
igetgritty.com. So that's been really fun for me. I just wrote a post, I haven't published it yet, about how I stay healthy while on vacation. So I turn into like this psycho germaphobe. I have like my Clorox wipes on deck, and I'm like, everybody sanitize, like the whole group, is everybody clean? Um, and especially vitamins. I feel like traveling with vitamins is so crucial. I take a probiotic, I take a daily vitamin, maybe, like an immune booster, some vitamin C, some vitamin D. I feel like staying on a routine, especially if you're traveling for a long amount of time, just to have something like every morning you wake up and take your vitamins, just something that keeps you on a normal routine. You're not going crazy with the eating all the time. Um,
hmm
so
So
I
what
feel
is
like
your vitamin like regimen or supplements? Like what do you take all the time every day?
So I actually have this sitting out right now. I use the Garden of Life probiotics, which changed my life immune system wise. Peru was the first time I'd gotten sick in a while. I really don't get sick that often. And I think that was more of like a food thing. Who knows what that was? A few other people got sick in the group that I went with as well. So we don't know what got us. But before that, I really hadn't been sick in over a year. And I think it's because of the vitamins that I take. And then I take a multivitamin, and then I take usually vitamin C or vitamin D, depending on how much I've been running around, how much nutrients have I gotten this week, am I eating my greens? Just really paying attention to what I'm putting in my body. I think that's so important. Like before, I think I've lost some weight in the past year, and I think it's just because I'm really thinking about what I'm putting in my body. Am I really hungry, or am I just bored? Focusing on my mental health and my relationship with food. Am I just eating because I'm stressed out and it just tastes good and it's making me feel good for a second, but I'm not going to feel good tomorrow? All those things, such big factors.
Yeah, am I hungry or am I bored is like
Yeah.
the biggest question of my life.
Oh yeah, I just stopped myself last night. I was watching The Real Housewives of Orange County, and I was like, "Oh, this is so juicy! Like, I want some dark chocolate covered graham crackers so bad." And then I'm like, "No, I'm just bored. Like, I'm just into the drama."
Yeah. Yeah, that's totally true. Well, do you have any tips for people for like just kind of keeping their mental health in check and like keeping their diet in check?
Look at your relationship with food. I was notorious for I didn't eat anything for a few years, and then I felt like I recovered from that, but then I ended up binge eating for a few years, and now I finally felt like I've met that sweet middle part of the two, which is really nice, but I've really had to examine my relationship with food. And am I stress eating? I would, if I was stressed out, if I had an exam the next day, I'd use it as an excuse to pig out. Or, I just did this really hard workout, I don't feel good, like I'm going to eat my face off. So really look at, what are you eating? Why are you eating? Is this going to fuel your body? Is this, you want food to help you, not hurt you? That kind of thing. Everything we do is so mental, working out, eating, these day-to-day things are so important.
Yeah, it's huge. So huge. Well, thank you so much for being here today. It was so good to talk to you. Where can
Yes.
people find you online?
So I'm Amelia Loves Kale on Instagram. I post all my travel stuff there, recipes, skincare stuff. I'm really big on skincare. And then I still have my blog, youngandnotsoreckless.com.
Awesome. Well, I will link that in the show notes.